The life in the hereafter. What does the Quran say? Translation of Jahan-e-Fada by Ajaz Rasul. Ghulam Ahmad Parwez 1969. 18. An introduction to punishment in the hereafter. In relation to the punishment in the hereafter, we should have come to the subject of Jahannam, so that its complete concept could be understood. But we think that the various words used in the Quran for this punishment should first be defined. The root of the word azab is an-zb, which has basic meanings. 1. That pain or trouble which affects or interferes with the comforts of life. 2. An obstacle or obstruction lying in someone's path. Punishment in this life includes all kinds of destruction and ruin, which can include physical or mental or psychological suffering. But what the punishment in the hereafter will be, we cannot understand that at our existing level of consciousness, because at present we cannot visualize what type or form or state of life it will be. From the Quran it is clear that in the next life feelings will be very intense. This is why we can get some inkling of the severity of internal distress which will be experienced in the next life due to one's failures and disappointments. The second meaning of the word azab, in other words the unassailable obstructions in the path of life, puts some light on this aspect. The purpose of the present life is to develop the human self. The person whose self has developed to such an extent that he is capable of going from this stage of life to the next stage of life will progress forward. This is defined as the life of paradise. The one whose self is not developed to such an extent will not be able to go forward and he will be stopped. This is that intense sense of failure which is called azab in the hereafter. Azabun or azibun refers to that man or horse or camel that stops eating or drinking due to the severe intensity of thirst. From this, you will appreciate the delicate point that this condition is not imposed from the outside but is a natural consequence of the internal state of the individual or animal. It is apparent from this that though the words used in the Quran to describe the punishment in the hereafter are those used in reference to this current life, the aim is to expose the internal state of turmoil and unhappiness of an individual in the next life, because this is the only way to explain it. As already stated, this state will be the consequence of the stoppage of further progress of the human self. This punishment of the hereafter is called Azab al-Jahim. 18.1 Azab al-Jahim, stoppage of further development. Jahim is another name of Jahannam or hell. Arjahama Ano means he stopped from something. The stoppage which is in the path of life's evolutionary progress is called Azab al-Jahim. This punishment in life is referred to as the internal turmoil due to the stoppage or being prevented from going forward in the evolutionary progress of human life. Regarding the inhabitants of paradise, the Quran states that the light emanating from their foreheads will brighten the path in front of them, and this process of the going forward will be unimpeded and continuous. The Quran states, "Nor will they there taste death, except the first death." 44:56. See also 47:52-18. Then another death will not be imposed on them, and they will be protected from that punishment which causes internal turmoil due to the stoppage from being able to proceed on the paths going forward. 47:52-18. Contrary to this, regarding the denizens of hell, with us are fetters, to bind them, and a fire, to burn them. 73:12. These internal shackles, which will not be externally imposed, are even now affecting human beings at every step, but at this stage they are not aware of it. At that time these will become visible, and hell, Jahim, shall be placed in full view for all to see. 79:36. The invisible will become visible for all to see. 18.2 Azab al-Mahin, the punishment of inner humiliation. In contrast to those who will move forward, for the ones who remain behind, the sense of inferiority they will feel is known as azab al-mahin, i.e., utterly humiliating punishment. And they shall have a humiliating punishment. 4:14. See also 6:93. The reason for this has been explained. You received your good things in the life of the world, and you took your pleasure out of them. But today shall you be recompensed with a penalty of humiliation, for that you were arrogant on earth without just cause, and that you ever transgressed. 46:20. In other words, while in this world these people tried to become renowned without doing anything productive or constructive for mankind. Now the reality is made clear, that false pride once unveiled, becomes a source of azab al-mahin, humiliation and ruin. If we heat up the false coating on an ornament, the underlying reality or truth becomes clearly exposed. And the resultant sense of humiliation of being thus caught and exposed is their punishment. 4:56. 18.3 Azaba Yawm Akim, the punishment of failure. The meanings of Akim include not only sterility, but also failure in one's labors. It also means to close something or to stop or to cut off. So this term is applicable to man's utter failure and hopelessness in a situation. 22:55. 18.4 Comparison. In Surah Ra'ad. For them is a penalty in the life of this world, but harder, truly, is the penalty of the hereafter. And defender have they none against Allah. 13:34. From this it is obvious that no matter how much pain and distress there is in this life, it is far less when compared to the life in the hereafter. In the hereafter, human consciousness will increase manifold as compared to this life. 18.5 Azab al-Azim, the great punishment. This is why the punishment in the next life is described as being Azab al-Azim, very severe. In Surah Al-Baqarah it is stated, "For them there is nothing but disgrace in this world, and in the world to come, an exceeding torment." 2:114. See also 5:33, 5:41-24. 23. Regarding this it is stated in Surah Al-Imran, "Be not like those who are divided amongst themselves and fall into disputations after receiving clear signs. For them is a dreadful penalty." 3:105. See also 10:15-39, 13. In some verses it is quoted that the last messenger also said, that if I go against the divine laws then say, I would, if I disobeyed my Rabb, indeed have fear of the penalty of a mighty day. 6:15. In some verses this is also called Azab Yawm al-Qiyamah. 5:36-39, 24-39, 47. 18.6 Feet Azab al-Makim, the sustained punishment. In the life in the hereafter, punishment will not be temporary or short-lived. Its details will be covered in the next chapter on Jahannam. Those who go forward will continue to progress, and those who have stopped progressing will remain stuck. That is why their state will be permanent. This is called Azab al-Makim. In Surah Maida it is stated, their wish will be to get out of the fire, but never will they get out therefrom. Their penalty will be one that endures. 5:37. See also 9:68-42, 45. This is also called Azab-e-Kud, the sustained and never-ending punishment. 32:14. The word Khalid as related to hell and paradise will be discussed in the next two chapters. There will be no diminution in this punishment. 35, 36, 40, 49. Instead, as the awareness about the state of punishment increases, the effects of the punishment itself will also increase. 78, 30. 18.7 feet Azab an-Nar, the punishment of fire. For complete destruction, fire is an example commonly used, as it burns everything to leave nothing but a heap of ashes. Since those who follow the wrong path have their life destroyed. In the hereafter, the Quran has used fire to denote hell, and all the details of hell are related to this metaphor. The fire of hell is not like the physical fire in this world. The Quran declares, "It is the fire of the wrath of Allah kindled to a blaze, the which does mount to the hearts." 104, 6-7. This is that punishment which the Mu'mineen wish to protect themselves from. Our Rabb, give us good in this world and good in the hereafter, and defend us from the torment of the fire. 201. See also 3:16. Our Rabb, any whom you do admit to the fire, truly you cover with shame, and never will wrongdoers find any helpers. 192. From this it is made clear that it is not that fire which burns in ovens. It is that fire which leads to the deprivation of any humaneness from an individual. This is a state of the worst ruin. 32. 20-21, 46. 35. 18.8 Heat and grief. Using fire as an example, the various states of punishments in hell have been described in terms in which heat, grief and extreme temperatures are prominent. For example, in some verses it is likened to azab-e-harik, in which harik means the fire which is produced when we rub a file on iron and sparks are produced. This is what is called the fire of the soul. This is the correct meaning of this azab. In Surah Anfal it is stated that the angels will slap the criminals and will say, "Taste the penalty of the blazing fire." Tariq 8:50. In another verse, "For him there is disgrace in this life, and on the day of judgment we shall make him taste the penalty of burning fire." Tariq, opening parenthesis, 22:9. Going further, after a few verses it is stated, "Every time they wish to get away therefrom, from anguish, they will be forced back therein, and it will be said, taste you the penalty of burning." Tariq 22:22. See also 85:10. Due to the intensity of the heat, in another verse it is also called azab-e-samum, the literal translation of which is of a very hot strong wind which penetrates the body and results in the effects similar to that of a poison. In the deserts, such winds produce very severe destruction. 52:27. 18.9 Azab-e-hamim, the punishment of boiling water. In the same context there are some verses about the punishments in hell, in which it is stated that boiling water will be made available for drinking. They will have for drink boiling water, and for punishment, one most grievous. For they persisted in rejecting Allah. 6:70. See also 10:4. In Surah Dukhan it is stated that boiling water will be poured over his head, and it will be said, "Then pour over his head the penalty of boiling water, taste you this. Truly you were mighty, full of honor." 44:49. You considered yourself as master of great power and status in the world. The end of false power is humiliating destruction. 18.10 Azab an-Ilim, the punishment of extreme grief. The Quran has comprehensively put together all the forms of extreme grief and pain in one word, Azab an-Ilim. Ilam is that pain which is extreme in its grief, anguish and sorrow. From this, the concept of Azab an-Ilim becomes clear. This state of grief defines many types of deprivations, about which the Quran states, "As for those who sell the commitment they owe to Allah and their own plighted word for a small price, they shall have no portion in the hereafter. Nor will Allah speak to them or look at them on the day of judgment, nor will He purify them. They shall have a grievous penalty. Azab un-ilim. 3. 77. See also. 2. 10. This also happens to those who realize their state of loss too late when they cannot rectify it. One can imagine the internal torment of such an individual. 4. 18. 5. 36, and 10. 4. 18.11 Azab un-shadid, very severe punishment. Pain to such a severe degree which then keeps increasing in intensity, such a tormented state is called azab un-shadid. 10. 70, 35, 7. This is an automatic consequence of shirk, i.e., mixing your own or other man-made laws with the divine laws. 50. 26. Or for those who consider the aim of their life to be only the immediate material benefits of this life and who ignore the permanent values of the Quran. 57. 20. The severity of the punishment in hell which has been described in these words can be imagined from the following verse. Death will come to him from every quarter, yet will he not die. And in front of him will be a chastisement unrelenting. 14. 17. Apart from this, it will be such a punishment in which all types of chastisements are concentrated and become focused in one place. In reference to this, the guardians of hell are called Gilaz un-Shidad un. O you who have Iman! Save yourselves and your families from a fire whose fuel is men and stones, over which are appointed angels stern and severe, who flinch not from executing the commands they receive from Allah, but do precisely what they are commanded. 66. 6. These are the different forms of Allah's punishment. 14. 21. Which are noted as metaphorical states which are the consequence of man's living a life based on wrong values. For all of these states, one comprehensive term is used, Jahannam, the detailed explanation of which is the topic of the next chapter and should provide the cause for learning thousands of salutary lessons.